Hey everyone, welcome to Monzon Media. Today's video I wanted to do, just a little talk between the two of us. Well, me and the 1,000 plus of you that are subscribed to my channel. Not gonna lie, I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to reach this milestone of 1,000 subscribers, and I have you all to thank for it. Nevertheless, really does mean a lot to me. I did mention in a previous video that someone like myself, starting from scratch and growing my channel up to this point, seemed like such a big task, an impossible task. And my greatest concern, as well as my insecurity, was not having a voice on this platform. Even though I have some design experience and I work with all this different software that I teach you, there's that fear of what people are going to think of you and what your friends and family are going to say and all those negative things. And I've spent a good few years being behind the camera, and being in front of the camera now is very foreign to me, but I've gotten comfortable with that. So for me to reach this milestone really means a lot to me. But that's part of what I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you guys about practical YouTube tips for, small creators that are just starting out YouTube and wondering what it really is like, because nothing against those bigger YouTubers that do content on grow to 1,000 fast and earn 4,000 hours in a week and blah blah blah, and everything is fast, and that really isn't the case for a lot of us. Is it impossible? No, absolutely not. There are a lot of creators that just blow up because they have that it factor. But for many of us, we got to grind it out and grow as you go. So I'm going to talk a lot, not something I normally do, but this is something that's very important to me, something I'm very passionate about, because what I've seen and what I've heard in the content creator community, it affects a lot of people in both positive and negative ways. And I think because it's kind of like we kind of do it to ourselves, we kind of give this false hope or this false dream that's really not practical for most people where they are at that time. So this video is for the new or current creator that can relate to me. That's, nothing special. I've been called boring. I've been called monotone. My first point is about mindset. Getting your mindset correct. For example, monetization. A lot of new creators come on YouTube and they think, what's the fastest way I can grow to 1,000 subscribers and gain 4,000 hours to be monetized? And although it's a great overall goal to have, and I initially had that goal to do it within a year, and I went a little bit beyond a year. But when you hit that point, you're really only making sense, literally sense. Depending on your CPM, if you know anything about that, let's say as an example, your CPM is $2. And the way it works is that you make $2 per 1,000 views. If my CPM is $2 and I've got 10,000 views, do the math. It's not much money. Yes, you can have multiple videos and that are successful and have all these views and it builds up over time, but it's not practical to strive for when you're starting from scratch. You're better off building your channel, building your authority, and opportunities could come along the way. And you could even get into affiliate marketing to start making money sooner than waiting for this grand task of 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours, because it is hard. The amount of effort it takes to get there is kind of insane, to be honest. I recently uploaded my 100th video, and Nick Nimmin did a video a while back on how many videos does it take to hit, 1,000 subscribers, 10,000 and up. And I remember the average for 1,000 subscribers was, I think it was around 100 videos roughly. Now, mind you, that's just an average and it doesn't apply to everybody. You know, I'm part of a couple content creator communities, and there are people that have been doing this for 3 years, 5 years, and they still only have a few hundred subscribers. And then there's others that just joined and in 6 months hit that mark. So you really can't base it on those averages, but it is a good way to kind of gauge where you're at. My whole point is don't focus on monetization because it's gonna drive you crazy. Unless you're already a business person and you have a product and service to sell, and your expectation is to use YouTube to promote those things, then by all means, you know, go nuts and reach for those goals, because, you know, that ad money is going to help, but at least it wouldn't be your focus. So you got to get your mindset right. The other thing that is really concerning is the vanity metrics. And this kind of leads to my second point about giving yourself 1 to 3 years to learn, develop, and train. If I can relate this to being an athlete or a musician, in both instances, you learn theory in music. As an athlete, you learn certain motions, rules of the game, and how it works. You exercise and you train and you practice. And the best way to learn something is through constant repetition. And I've mentioned before in a couple of videos that I'm a drummer. I haven't played in a while, just with COVID and everything. But when I was playing out and playing on gigs, I would practice constantly grooves in my beats, the same thing over and over and over until it became second nature. And YouTube is the same way. It's like with video editing. You edit enough videos, you start to learn shortcut keys. You have your own kind of workflow that makes things a bit more efficient and more quick for you to develop your content a lot faster. And then if you're starting from scratch and you have no experience with designing thumbnails, video editing, using a camera, and all that stuff, then you've got a long road ahead of yourself. Doesn't mean that you can't start right now. There's a period of time that you got to give yourself. You got to treat it like a training ground. Give yourself a year to develop, to experiment, even niching down. People freak out about, oh, I don't have a niche and I don't know what to do and blah blah. Dude, have you made a video? Have you tried? Have you done 30 videos to read your analytics? Have you done 50 to 100 to see what your audience actually likes? So my channel at this point after a year was me experimenting. And I can tell you from my analytics, you guys love Canva, even especially the animation videos. You guys also love the Canon M50 content, and some of you like Pixlr. And along the way, I'm starting to see interest in Luminar and some other topics that I've covered. And again, that's been because I've had focused intent on the content I've been doing to see what it is that I value, what it is that I like to do. It's kind of like I'm throwing a fishing line out there saying, does my audience like this? I kid you not. If I did only Canva content for the rest of the year, I could probably double my subscriber count fairly easily, maybe more. However, I don't want my channel to be just a Canva channel. So again, it was me experimenting and developing my channel, my skills, and learning each time that I create content. So I have a favorite saying that I always tell people: clarity comes by doing. You know, a lot of times we don't have clarity because we sit here on our asses and we think about what we should do. We plan what we think we want to do. And we get to a certain point where we've thought about it so much and we've kind of over researched things, and then we kind of get discouraged and say, well, I'm not going to do that video anymore. And I've learned, you know, many years ago that regardless of how you feel what you're thinking. You just got to go forward with what it is that you set out to do. Clarity comes by doing. The more you do, the more you learn, and the more you get used to how things flow. For example, I mentioned about video editing. You get faster at it. You learn the shortcuts. Clarity comes by doing. You just gotta do it. Just hit record and do it. Who cares what people think, what your family's gonna say, or how you're gonna look on camera? And I could be insecure about the long ass sideburns I've got and the white hair sticking out of it, and I haven't had a haircut in months and all that stuff, but I still create content. Again, clarity comes by doing, so do the thing that you want to do. So yeah, I did it. I'm an average Joe. There's nothing special about me. I don't come across as this ShamWow, hey guys and girls, and subscribe to my channel. No, dude, like that's not how I want to come across to my subscribers. I want people to see that I'm genuine. And if it takes me being ShamWow and yes, hit that subscribe button, blah, blah, I've done it in the past and I still kind of do it, but I do it my way. That's not me. That's not my channel. So I'm probably rambling right now, so I'm just going to cut to the next point, which is building a library of content. So remember previously I said take a year to 3 years to learn, train, and develop. During that time, you should be learning about optimizing your videos, learning about SEO, and learning about research within your niche. Now, I'm not going to get into how that's all done because there is some strategy to that, some forethought. It's not as hard as people make you believe it is. It really is very simple. We just make it very complicated. However, as you learn more about it and as you grow and as you start to see certain things work, building a library of searchable content that people are looking for is what's going to grow your channel. And this is where that mindset comes in again, that false expectation of produce this kick-ass video. It's my first video. It's kick-ass. It's 4K. I did it on my Sony A7C and I've got all this great lighting and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And then their video flops. They get depressed or they don't know what's going on, get upset because, again, there's that false expectation. You could create the best content in the world, but if you're not optimizing your videos, researching the competition, doing content that people are looking for, doesn't matter how much you spent on that gear, that video is not going to go anywhere. You got to learn about the algorithm. Again, what I've done in this past year is build content that I thought people would search for. Even my lowest videos, under 100 views, some 50, 60, whatever it is, those are still people watching my content. And yeah, it might not have engagement as much as I'd like on those videos. It might not have all the likes and the comments, but one person watched that video, I'm happy. And you kind of have to set that low expectation. It's kind of funny how this works. Typically, you put the high expectation on the things you want to achieve, but with YouTube, it's like lower your expectation. Don't think you're going to go viral in your first year. Don't think you're going to hit 1,000 subscribers in 6 months or 3 months. Again, very possible, but most likely not. Once you free yourself of all the vanity metric, all the BS that's around you, and you just focus on your content and getting better, again, learning, training, and developing. Once you focus on that, it's not stressful at all. You might get tired and you might have days where you just don't feel like doing content, but doing all this content and pushing myself because my mindset was off and I was pushing myself in the wrong ways. but I started to realize that I still got a long way to go. Now, once you've built this library, this is where it's super important. This library of content is going to give you your analytics, which leads me to my next point. What is this? Point number 4. You fed the algorithm. Let's say you've done 30 to 50 videos. I think I hit 30 videos in maybe my 4th month in or 5th month in or something like that. And again, I recently hit 100 videos recently, only because I started doubling up some weeks, even tripling up some weeks. But really, if you were to post one video a week, that's going to give you 52 videos, assuming you do it every week. But that's going to give you 50 videos for the year. And that's going to give you analytics. That's going to give you information in YouTube Studio to see how you're reaching people. I definitely want to do videos on analytics because I really feel like YouTube Studio has everything you need. Even the way you research things, there's an easy way to find what people are searching for. Do I use TubeBuddy? Yes. Do I use vidIQ? Yes. I only got TubeBuddy because I have TubeBuddy Pro because it was a one-time lifetime deal for like $40. When you sign up new, I'm not sure if they're still doing that. And vidIQ is like, $10 a month or whatever it is. Honestly, learning those things as a new creator is great, and I think it'll give you the edge on the competition. It'll give you a little bit of an edge in terms of researching what people are looking for. But at the very beginning, I would say your first 1 to 6 months, it's really not necessary. Again, if you want to hear more about that, I'm definitely going to do some content on that. But I don't want to be one of those channels because that's not what I'm focusing on. But there are some things that I'm learning that I'd love to share with you guys that I think we're getting the wrong impression. Again, I want to give you some practical tips. But with the analytics, you get your CTR, you see your reach. You could even break it down to what's the percentage of your audience that is watching you on mobile versus desktop versus TV. I've even mentioned in some of my videos that I look at my top geographies, like who's watching me, and it's always the US, Canada, Indonesia, India, and I love seeing that. I love seeing that people are watching me on the other side of the world. You don't need those other programs to learn that stuff. But analytics is feedback. It's YouTube talking to you and saying, this was successful. This didn't work so well. This got your audience's attention. How long people are watching, where are they clicking off, that type of thing. I would encourage you to get on the back end of YouTube Studio, watch some YouTube videos on it, or even request it on my channel. I really don't care, but learn about analytics. See, I talk to fellow creators fairly regularly, at least once a week almost, and sometimes several times a week. I would say, let's say out of 10 people I would talk to, at least half of them, maybe more, I'd say 60% of people don't know how to read their analytics properly. They know about CTR, they know about views and like the typical stuff, but it's very surface. They haven't gone really deep in their analytics. And I think as a content creator, this is probably the most overlooked skill that people kind of brush off. They don't think it's important. I hope you're still with me. I know I've kind of been rambling on, but like I said, I have a lot on my mind. I guess maybe, creating short content, and I've stuffed all this stuff inside. It's all coming out now, but I really did want to share this with you guys. Now, my last point is something, again, that I'm very passionate about, and it's about community. I have another saying that goes, build your community by building others. And what I mean by that is getting to know fellow content creators. One of the groups I joined, I took a course, and they have this amazing content creator group on Facebook. And that was something I was really looking for in the beginning. Prior to this channel, I started another channel. It was more of a music channel, and I thought that was going to be my path, but I learned along the way that maybe it's something I can do later. I just wasn't really ready to do that type of thing on YouTube. But during my time doing that channel and, really learning about YouTube and the algorithm, it was a lonely road. I had nobody to talk to about it. My family didn't understand what I was doing. They just thought I was making videos to do drum covers and things like that. But they never took it serious. Just to let you in on some, how it was in the beginning. So I was at my brother's house, and I think it was like a family thing. I don't know if it was a birthday or a get together, whatever. Just to amuse everybody, my older brother put on my video. It was my first video I did for my channel. I think at the time I had 2 or 3 videos up. He showed it in front of my whole family. I've got 3 other brothers and my parents, and of course their wives and their kids and stuff. And he played my video, and all I heard was laughter. Like good belly laughing laughter. And knowing my family, that's how we are. We kind of laugh at each other, That's kind of something that I've accepted. And I love them, don't get me wrong. But I'd be lying to say that when I got home, I was a little discouraged. My family has always supported me, and they still support me. But at that time, you don't think of those things. You all you hear is the laughter. And it was funny because the second oldest brother, who I grew up in, we were very close. He was the only one that was like, shut up, shut up. I want to listen to this stuff. I want to, he was really sincerely interested on what I was doing because it's very new to him. And that's kind of, my conclusion is that whether it's your family or friends, they laughed because it was foreign to them. They weren't used to seeing me on camera on YouTube creating content, and it bummed me out for a while. It really did. So long story short, that turned around. My parents are probably the first people to watch my videos. My older brother we've talked about creating a channel for him. He does coding and stuff, very nerdy stuff that I don't understand, but he wants to develop a channel. My other brother, who's a musician as well, on the side, he's always on IG, and I keep bugging him to make a YouTube channel. So things can turn around. At that time, it seemed like I had nobody. So whether it's a Facebook group, a Discord group, or meeting people locally, you'd be surprised what's available locally. Find like-minded people. And of course, being part of these other communities, I've met some amazing content creators, and there's no reason why you should be doing this on your own. Yes, you're going to create the content on your own. You're your own producer. You're your own editor. But you need a place to vent. You need a place to trade ideas. You need you need people to talk to that understand what you're going through. So whether it's you pay for a course that has a community, or you go on, again, Facebook, Discord, wherever, Reddit, to find those other creators, I highly encourage you to do that right away. You gotta have a support system. You can't be a creator purely solo. You gotta have people. So I know this video wasn't super exciting. There wasn't any B-roll, and it was me just rambling. But, looking back a year ago up until now, these are practical YouTube tips that I could give small YouTubers, new content creators, current content creators that are struggling to move forward. It doesn't have the pizzazz, it doesn't have the dazzle, but this is real and this is practical. And I think we need more practical and real advice from fellow content creators. I just feel like sometimes we're getting duped to buy something or to sell something or to, you know, subscribe, because eventually it's gonna funnel us into something else. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, like I think of creators like Nick Nimmin, Roberto Blake, and all these guys that focus on that stuff, but they've been at it for a long time. They've put in the time, and they can sell that to you because they have that experience. But what I feel is lacking is actual practical advice, because you can't sell practical. If I had a course about growing on YouTube and my first thing I told you was take a year to 3 years to experiment, learn and develop, that course probably wouldn't sell. You know what I mean? So like, I get it. I get it. If I ever have a course on growing YouTube, that's going to be my first topic, and I'll probably make like $2 from it. But it's very real advice. So, in closing, to summarize, get your mindset right. Forget about the vanity stuff. Forget about monetization. Free your mind from those expectations, which leads me to my next point, to, you know, take 1 to 3 years to experiment, learn, grow, and develop as a content creator. Third point is to create a library of content within that time frame, and along the way learn about, you know, optimizing your videos and researching your videos so that you have a pool of videos that people could look at when they find you. Number 4 was getting familiar with analytics, because, you know, once you've taken that 1 to 3 years, you're now going to have a bunch of analytics that will basically give you answers on what your audience likes and what they don't like. And lastly, point number 5 is building community. Again, build your community by building others, build those relationships, get to know people, start fellowshipping with people, and enjoy being a content creator, because it's a beautiful thing. I think I've rambled on enough. Oh my god, this video is probably like 20 minutes or 30 minutes. I'm going to try and shave it down as best as I can. But the very few of you that actually watch through this was not a scripted video. Again, it's not very fancy. I just have point forms that I wanted to make, but it was very important to me to speak very freely, very honestly with you guys, so that you could kind of see where I'm coming from. And yeah, you could say that I'm building that relationship with you guys. But yes, if you've watched through this and gotten through my rambling, I think this was kind of more therapeutic for me, if anything. I do appreciate you guys all. Knowing that I have a voice on this platform really means a lot to me. Again, thank you from the bottom of my heart. All of you guys mean so much to me. Let's get on to the new milestone. One step at a time. 5K. Let's go. Come on. I so appreciate you guys. And get out there, hit record, create, and I'll see you when I see you.